Hi there, welcome back to el podcast del Salón de Idiomas. Hi Rox, how are you doing?
I'm fine. What about you?
Everything's cool and everything's fine, and I'm getting excited because of the weather.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Even though you have a bit of a hay fever, right?
A little bit, yeah. But well, I don't know, like just that's the price that you have to pay for having sunlight until 10 p.m. or something like that.
That's true.
Yeah. So if you need to do a choice, what would you do, like winter or summer?
Do a choice. Okay, so I would rather go with, honestly, I think I will go with winter.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, kind of me too, actually. In some cases, especially with the fever. But well. What are we going to talk about today, right?
Okay, so we came with this interesting topic of actually, talking about the mistakes that Spaniards, or at least the one whose mother tongue is Spanish, end up making in English. Is it making or doing?
I don't know.
Yeah,
You tell me.
I don't know.
Is it making or doing?
Mistakes. Okay, so guys, you have to pay a lot of attention throughout the whole podcast because perhaps some mistakes might pop up from time to time.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, do you notice that a moment ago I said if you had to do a choice? Yeah, make a choice. So keep that in mind. We're gonna keep going through that because we're gonna simulate some situations so you can notice where this is actually coming from, okay?
Indeed, so pay a lot of attention to that.
Yeah, is it pay or
Or take, or what is it?
or borrow? I have heard that actually.
You've heard borrow attention?
Yeah, borrow attention. It's
Don't
like,
tell
why
me.
would you borrow attention? Because it's prestar atención. It's like, okay.
Ah, right. So they were translating literally from it.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have some sentences in Spanish that I will tell you, and you will have to translate. Okay.
Okay.
And you guys following us, translate. While Lon does it, and let's see how that works. Okay. So the first one would be, how do you say impresionante?
Impressionant?
No.
What
I
is
hope
it?
you guys have a better choice here. Impressive.
Impressive. There you
Okay,
are.
that's a pretty good one. What about tienes razón?
I mean, obviously, you have to say you have right.
No, because that's you have right. Like you have a right to education, right? No, you.
All right.
Yeah, indeed. Okay, so these things for some of you might be so obvious. However, when you least expect it, and even with students with higher level,
You can end up doing mistakes.
is it doing?
Is it doing? Making mistakes.
Yeah, okay, so make a choice and make mistakes. Okay, cool. So I have some others, okay? And we will go really fast.
Yeah.
The first one, how do you say actualmente?
Actually,
No.
currently.
Okay, currently or presently. Yeah. Do many of your students make this mistake?
Yeah, actually they do. And I love to have these little play on words that I say, well, actually, de hecho no significa actualmente. Actually, de hecho significa de hecho.
Okay, so you're using actually the correct way in the correct context, right?
Yeah. I always use that sentence and I find that hilarious.
A really good strategy.
Yeah.
Okay, so next one. How do you say ilusionado?
Illusionated.
It would be great to have these buttons, just press on them like eek.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can say hopeful. Okay, hopeful is a pretty good one. Or you can say excited, which perhaps rings a bell.
Yeah. Be careful with excited. That's a really common mistake that people keep saying. Do not make that one unless you're gonna be really embarazada.
Yeah, or
Embarrassed.
Imagine.
You're so embarazada. What?
Oh, imagine they do it differently. They don't want to fall into the mistake, so they say, "Oh, I'm so pregnant."
Yeah. Oh my God. It's like, congratulations, I guess. I don't know, because you're saying that in like a negative fashion, so I don't know.
Okay, so far so good. We say actually for de hecho and currently for actualmente. We said hopeful or excited for ilusionado. What about the expression qué curioso?
What curious?
No.
Then what is it?
No. Well, this is really interesting. We usually say how funny.
How funny.
Yeah.
But isn't it like funny, like ha ha ha?
Yeah, you made a good point there. Yeah, so on
Or
the
is
one
it
hand,
like funny, like, yeah, that's so funny. That's so... that's another common
no,
one.
that's another one. Okay, so let's not mistake funny and fun. Okay, so funny makes you laugh, and fun is something which is really cool.
Yeah,
right?
or entertaining, yes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And in this case, funny has a different meaning, which means interesting. Like even weird. Oh, that's funny. I didn't expect him to be here, for instance.
Yeah. By the way, something that also happens quite often is that after you say this, I would say something like, oh, I am so interesting right now because you're saying such interesting points.
Well, I bet you're a really interesting person. And I can assure you guys that Alonso is a really interesting person. Yet, it's not interesting.
Yeah, it's interested. So, what is the normal rule for this? That, of course, we use interested or ed. We use that for temporary feelings. And then you use ing for more like holistic descriptions of the person or thing or situation. That's another thing that people consider, that ing is for things and then ed is for people.
Yeah.
That's not really precise.
Yeah. And I think Spanish can come in handy here.
Exactly. That's where I was going to go. So, for instance, we have a really simple example that I say, estoy aburrido porque esta película es aburrida. So, if you say that in English, it would be, I am bored because this movie is boring. So, if you think about it, in Spanish, you would say estar. Okay, estar is with ed, and then ser is with ing. Yo estoy, estar, aburrido, ed, bored, because this movie is boring. Esta película es ser aburrida.
Yeah, indeed. Very good. You know, I mean, I wouldn't have said this years ago. So when I first came to Spain, that was like more than 20 years ago, I remember me having problems with the difference between ser and estar. But once you manage to know the difference, you can actually make use of that. Like in this case, the same one you have just said.
Yeah, exactly.
By the way, you say holistic. Does it mean it has to do with medicine?
I mean, I bet that it does. Okay, holistic in this case, it would be more for like something that is complete or that is taking many things into consideration or everything into consideration, actually.
Okay, so it's not a mistake that you did.
You did?
No, sorry, you made. Okay, so it's not a mistake you made. Okay, perfect. So holistic is like complete or yeah. Okay, cool. I still have a couple of them left.
Go for it.
Okay, so how would you say discutir?
Discuss. I mean, it's the same thing, of course.
Of course not. Okay, so to discuss is just to have a normal conversation about whatever. If it's a topic that you're interested in, you just discuss the topic. So you just, everyone gives their arguments, whatever, but it's not a fight, right? So it's not a dispute. Whereas we have a different word in English, which would be
argument.
Yeah. Okay. So,
you could also have heated discussions, by the way, perhaps like are a little bit too intense. They might lead to arguments, but that's another thing.
Indeed. No, that's a pretty good one. Yeah, heated discussion. But still perhaps not as aggressive as arguments.
No, I would say that that's like really intense. However, sometimes we go from heated discussions to arguments. And that's where it becomes shameful. Yeah.
So just a step before the...
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
the head breaks loose.
I am totally agree with you.
Okay, so you agree with me?
Yeah, totally.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so that's quite a big mistake you did.
What are you talking about? I don't get it.
Okay, so guys, remember this is a bit unfortunately far too typical. However, most of our students make this mistake, which is saying to be agree in English, and that's not like that in English. You just agree.
You just simply agree. It's simpler, actually. So
yeah, I think it has to do with the fact that we still stick to our Spanish system when talking. The same with la gente es.
Yeah, people is.
Yeah, that's not correct. That's not correct. Okay, so never people is and never we are agree. Okay, these are like, so you know what? Perhaps it might not come naturally to you, but just remember that whenever you're going to be talking about or using the word people and the verb to be, you have to stop and think that it's not like in Spanish. Just that. Just stop yourself. It's like, oh, that's not Spanish. And then perhaps it takes you a couple of seconds to realize that you have to use it in plural.
Now, if I can make you a question, how do you actually remember these things? Like, kind of like for not translating in your head.
Okay, so do you mean make a question, like actually create a question for an exam?
Yeah, of course.
Or you want to ask me a question? You take me by surprise. Okay, guys, so yeah, is it make or ask a question?
You ask a question, or if you make a question, then you are literally creating that for, like, as Rock said, that's for an exam or something along those lines.
I would urge you guys, if you were to come up with more synonyms for preguntar, so you can say ask a question, never do, or make, or as well you can say pose a question, P-O-S-E, pose a question, which is a pretty good one.
Yeah. Okay. Now, can you say me? It's funny because I need to actually focus.
Yeah, I watch you. You're like so serious. Like, what is he gonna tell me? And then I realized that.
Okay, so can you say me what's the following one?
Okay, so I can say to you what the following sentence is. Okay, so yeah, what's the difference between say and make? You make quite a nice here distinction between these two. Say and tell.
Say and tell. Well, as you have heard, you can directly say I am telling you, but you have to say I say to you. Grammatically speaking, that's the difference. Then you would have a meaning that you tell, and this is directed to a person, and then you say, and perhaps it's not really necessary if someone is listening to you or not. You're just pretty much pronouncing whatever is coming out of your mouth.
Indeed, yeah. So perhaps the Spanish may help, and I always believe that if you know how to understand your language, it's easier as well to resort to that or to associate it with English. So for instance, whenever you want to say contar algo, you tell, and whenever, as you just said, you utter something, so you verbalize something, like say yes, say hello, that's when you're gonna be saying say.
Yes. So I need to count you that that I have a bunch of students that also say something like, can you explain me this? Because I don't understand.
Okay, so just 2 mistakes.
Did you notice which are those?
Yeah. This is funny. We've just been talking about it. Okay, so contar is just tell, not count. Count is contar when you just make numbers. And the other one was explicar algo a alguien, right? So you don't explain someone, because if you explain someone, you actually have to say what that person is like.
Yeah, I don't know. You can do that by yourself, so you don't need anybody to explain you.
Indeed. So, but this actually goes hand in hand with the verb write. So you don't write someone or you explain someone. You write or you explain something, even though that something is not said to someone, right? So you explain to someone or you write to someone without necessarily saying what's the thing you actually explain or say. You're smiling. It makes me laugh. Or is it that? I'm
just thinking about whatever I'm going to come up with next.
Okay, just before you come up with something else, how would you say, I don't know, tengo 5 hermanos?
I have 5 brothers.
And all of them are male?
I mean, no. I have 2 sisters as well.
Okay, so how would you say, in that case, if you have sisters and brothers, tengo 5 hermanos, referring to...
I have 5 brothers, just like you, right?
Poor girls, where are they left? Okay, so I have 3 brothers and 2 sisters.
So you have 5 siblings.
Oh, you have 5 siblings.
There
cool,
you are.
cool.
Yes. And now we're learning how to tell. Count? Tell? Which one?
Count. So this is a math. It looks as if it's a math. Learning how to count as well.
Yeah, I feel like Count Dracula from.
You're staying a bit. You're straying a bit too far from our contention here. By the way, how do you say clases particulares?
Particular classes.
Oh, they must be really particular, right? I wonder why they have so particular.
That they are special.
Yeah, okay. So private lessons, never particular lessons. They might be particular, but they are private lessons. By the way, you can take private lessons with us as well, not just group classes.
Yeah, and you can start laughing with us and you can do all these mistakes and then we'll correct you.
Do mistakes. Okay, so tell me what next you have in store.
So now, what if I want to go and hop on the bus, but then it goes away and I didn't catch it? What happened there? I guess that I just lost the bus, didn't I?
Well, you might lose this specific bus because it's really tiny. Okay, but if it's a big one like the public transport, I think you just missed the bus.
You missed the bus.
Does it mean that you're actually missing? It's like you feel, like bus sick because you're not having it?
I mean, if that's your case, then I won't be criticizing you. That's up to you. But perhaps you can take it a little bit more lighthearted and be like, yeah, I'll just get on the other one.
Indeed. Okay, so you miss the bus. If you fail to take the bus, you miss the bus. You never lose the bus. And that's another common mistake that some of our students keep doing or making.
Doing or making? Or taking?
No, taking.
Have you heard
sure.
that before? I have heard that as well.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay.
You're
So
taking the mistake. It's like, what?
perhaps he meant you take my mistake too personal.
Perhaps. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah.
Do you ever take the mistakes your students keep making personal?
Sometimes. Sometimes I wonder if I'm not explaining myself correctly. And that's why they keep making those mistakes.
Yeah, me too.
But it's just that old habits die hard. And that's pretty much the entire point. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why they just...
And that's why this podcast is having the place in the first place, because we just have these little habits of making these silly mistakes over and over again. So let's just try to be more aware of them.
Indeed. Okay. What else do you have as for typical mistakes we might be making?
Well, I feel myself bad since I don't have anything else.
There are many questions raising there. So you feel yourself bad.
Yeah, because I'm sad right now because I don't have anything else. So I'm feeling myself bad.
Bad. So are you a bad person? You feel you're a bad person.
This is getting too dark. So you just simply say, I feel bad or I feel sad or whatever. You don't have to say myself. That's overly complicated, actually. I have to say that you need to know more English to make that mistake than if you didn't. That's an interesting mistake that people have.
Yeah. So, and the other one was, your whole sentence was the previous wrong sentence. I feel myself too bad because
I don't have anything else
to do. Just have to.
And that's it.
Okay. Simple as that.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So, I don't know. I feel like I am boring right now because I don't have anything else. Is it I am bored or I am boring?
I think you feel bored, but you have nothing of nothing.
I don't have nothing of nothing, no?
Okay, so guys, just be careful. Whenever you mean nada de nada, you will say...
Anything else?
Yeah, I don't have anything else. I have nothing at all.
Nothing at all, yeah.
Okay, cool. Now, asistir a clase.
assist to classes.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, it's evident. Isn't English so easy?
No, otherwise everyone would just speak English.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
I am right now. Like I'm just
It's funny.
because I assist to class every day.
Yeah, so you attend lessons, you attend the class. Okay. Okay, guys. So there are some other things which we should just make the difference between English and Spanish. One of them is the fact that more often than not, when you encounter certain expressions in Spanish which have to do with the verb to have, tener, in English perhaps they might go with the verb to be, right? So for instance, in Spanish you can say tengo 30 años, tengo hambre, tengo razón, tengo suerte. I don't know what else you can have, okay? O no tienes razón, o tengo sueño. Yeah, all of those in English will just go with soy, to be, okay? Like soy suertudo, o soy no sé cuántos años de viejo, o
Soy hambriento.
Soy hambriento. Okay, soy un hambriento. Okay, so just be careful with that. Okay, so we're going to be doing it really, really fast. I'm going to tell you the sentence in Spanish, and without thinking, you will have to tell me that in English, okay?
Okay.
The one we have just used. But I have the list over here, so perhaps I can say it even faster. Okay, so the first one, tienes razón.
You're right.
Tengo suerte.
I'm lucky.
Él tiene hambre.
He's hungry.
Ella tiene 60 años.
She's 60.
Él no tiene razón.
He's not right.
Ok. Ella... Ya no sé. I don't know what else to say.
You don't have nothing to say?
No, there are many more left. But nothing comes to my mind. So nothing at all so far. Okay. What else? So guys, so far, I hope you will stop making these mistakes. There is really good... Not good. It's mistakes. I'm not sure to what extent they're good. However, when you refer to, for instance, when you say the most important is learning from the mistakes.
Most important what?
Yeah, you're right. Good. So in Spanish, you don't necessarily need to say what, right? So you say lo más importante es aprender de los errores. However, in English, you always need to have, because importance is an adjective, so you need to have a verb with that adjective. As long as you have an article like the, important, then you need to have a noun no matter what.
Yeah. Just remember that this is a common thing in English because in conjugation, the subject is not clear. However, in Spanish, it is. Lo más importante, it, because of the conjugation.
Indeed, yeah.
Yeah, but not in English.
Okay, so how would you translate this? Soy el mejor profe del mundo.
My name is Alonso. Sorry.
Okay,
that was
okay.
really easy. That was really easy. Sorry.
I wonder how, like our listeners, are thinking like, oh my God, so many incoherent stuff.
Yeah, what's going on?
Now they can see a glimpse of our humor,
Yeah. You can also have fun. You can have fun while you're learning English. See, this is one of the pieces of it.
Yeah. So how would you translate? Soy el mejor profe del mundo.
I am the greatest teacher in the world.
Very good. So you say it perfectly, in the world, not of the world. More often than not, again, I keep hearing that. So the best food of the world. No, the best food in the world, the best meal in the world, the best country in the world, whatever, in the world, not of, like you would say in Spanish. Okay. Yeah, there is another one. In Spanish, you usually say, es un problema importante. But in English, problems are not important. They are big. So that's a big problem, right? We wouldn't say that's an important problem. Mind you, pay attention to the difference. Next one. Hacer una compra. Is it do or make?
I would say go grocery shopping.
Okay. You got rid of that. Okay, so you actually make a purchase, okay? You make it because there is a bit of an effort behind that, like, I don't know, leaving your money on it. But you don't do a purchase, you make a purchase. Next one, tener sentido. Esto no tiene sentido.
This doesn't make any sense.
Very good, yes.
It's like part of this podcast. I hope not. This does make sense. We're trying to make a point about all the common mistakes that people have. So this does make sense.
Common mistakes that people have or people make?
Oh my God, what?
Okay, that's it. That's it. Okay, how you say personas?
Persons.
There is some, okay, more often than not we say people. However, there are some times when we say persons. When is it that we say persons and not people?
When you want to say something like, there are many persons here.
Okay. Okay. Well, especially if you want to make a difference between persons, you know, like individuals, humans, and other kind of things that there might be. For instance, in an elevator or a lift, you can say that the capacity is for 5 persons. Otherwise, it will be, I don't know, 4 persons and a dog, right? However, when you refer to it in general, we will just say people.
Yeah, and people are.
Very good. And just to finish this off, okay? By the way, to finish is just to terminar. However, to finish off is rematar, okay? So to finish this off, I'm not sure whether you have any more things to say in store.
I mean, I have a bunch of incoherences here, so it's fine. Like a million, actually. Yeah, just in my case, I love to say, because it sounds like a present, I would say to wrap this up.
Oh, yeah. Very good. So to wrap it up, to finish, there are many more. We recommend to you to go to the link that we have below in our description, because there you will have access to a whole article talking about providing you with plenty of expressions that you should be avoiding, not to fall into this Spanglish stuff. However, I just want to wrap this up by saying that today, even though you cannot see him, somos 3 en la sala de hoy. Aquí donde grabamos, here. So how would you say that somos 3 aquí?
We are 5. Sorry, I forgot that I don't know how to do math.
Next episode has to be with learning how to do maths, okay? 5. Okay, so definitely we wouldn't say we are 3. Because if you say we are 3, what you're actually saying is that tenemos 3 años, right? Remember. So when you refer to the fact that there are more people in the same place or whatever, you will have to say there are 3 of us. So I know it's a bit more complicated. It's easier in Spanish just to say somos 3, but in English you have to say there are 3 of us, okay? Because otherwise you just refer to the age we might be, okay? So yeah, there are 3 of us, okay, in this in today's episode, even though the third one cannot be seen.
Yeah, he's the last of us.
I hope they know they're referring to the series or to the game.
Great show.
By the way. Okay, guys, so it was surprisingly funny.
Yeah, extremely funny, actually.
We should be repeating this at the beginning of the podcast. Yesterday or 2 days ago, we were wondering whether this topic may give enough, like contention, because it's like, okay, we will be talking about mistakes, but is it gonna be profound enough?
Yeah, and I was actually worried that you will be scolding me all the time. It's like, what the hell is wrong with you?
No, I'm not scolding you. And I will never scold you. Look at that. Anyhow, guys, it's so even though I don't actually remember or know when this podcast is going to be released, but for us, we've just done the recording on a Friday. So I think it's the best way to finish our working week.
Yeah, exactly.
So guys, remember not to make the same mistakes.
Or do.
Don't make that mistake.
No, okay.
Don't make that mistake.
Enough.
Okay, so not to make the same mistake. Listen to us. Keep watching this video, once we've said to follow us, to like our video, and to click at the description, keep watching it because you're going to be having a bit more of a video left.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So see you later and have a lovely weekend. Take care. Bye.
Bye.